Hey guys, today in this video we're going to go over trigonometric ratios solving for the missing side. So if you remember from last video, we went ahead and discussed the three trigonometric functions. The first one being the sine, the second one being the cosine, and the third one being the tangent. Now to remember the equation of each, we went ahead and used the following acronym, SOHCAHTOA. Now today we're going to go ahead and introduce when we do not know a variable. So in other words, when we're looking for that value. So we don't know either the side or the angle. Today we're going to focus on the side. And then on the following video, we're going to go ahead and focus on the angle. So now let's look at our triangle on the left. First of all, you always go ahead and start by identifying the sides. So in this case, what is the hypotenuse of the triangle? So the hypotenuse is going to be the side that is opposite to the 90-degree angle. So this one would be my hypotenuse, or HYP. Now the next question that you have to ask yourself is which one is the adjacent and which one is the opposite. So you first have to identify what angle you're given. In this case, the angle that is given is going to be this one. So that's the angle. The angle is 32 degrees. Now, which one is opposite to 32? Is it going to be x or is it going to be 11? Well, the answer is 11, right? Because if you notice, the arrow that points to the x is curved. So it's not exactly opposite to it. It's on the side of it. So in this case, 11 is the correct answer. So 11 is my OPP, which stands for opposite, and my last side is the adjacent, or ADJ. Now looking at the information that we are given, what two things or what two sides do I know? Like what two sides are being used by the triangle? So we are using the opposite because we know that that is 11. And then we are also using the adjacent because that's where x is. In other words, what we are not looking for or what we are not going to use today is the hypotenuse. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. So now I have to find a relationship that uses the following letters, that uses O and uses A. So which one of the three functions, so looking over here, which one of those three functions, is it this one, or this one? Which one of those three uses OA? Is it going to be the first one, sine, the second one, cosine, or the third one, tangent? If you said the third one, you are correct. If you notice, tangent goes ahead and uses OA. So that's going to be this part. So that means that the function that I have to use to solve for x has to be the tangent function. So I'm going to be using TOA. Alright, if you remember, the tangent function is the following. Tangent, or tan, of the angle, tan of A, is equal to my opposite over my adjacent. Okay? And now I have to go ahead and substitute. So what things am I given? So do I know A? So do I know the angle measure of A? In this case, I do know what A is. A is going to be 32. So this becomes tangent. Instead of A, I'm going to write 32 is equal to my opposite is going to be what? What's the value of the opposite? The opposite is 11. So it's going to be 11 over whatever my adjacent is. My adjacent in this case is x, right? So it's going to be 11 over x. Now you have an equation. In the equation you have two numbers because although it does not appear to be so, tangent of 32 is actually a number. And then you have 11, which is also a number, and then x. So in other words, what we have to do is solve for x. So how do you go ahead and solve for x? Well, there's different ways to do it. The easiest way to do this is by using cross multiplication, or by multiplying x on both sides. So let's actually go ahead and do the second one. So we're going to go ahead and multiply x on both sides, so that way we don't have the x as a denominator. So if I multiply by x on both sides, so I'm going to multiply by x over here, and I'm going to multiply x on this side as well. Now, because I'm multiplying by x, this is going to be basically 11x over x. So because you have an x on top and the bottom, this is going to become a 1. And then on this side, you have x tangent of 32 is equal to 11. Let's put the x as with blue. So x times tangent of 32 is equal to 11. So now I have to leave the x by itself. So how do I go ahead and leave the x by itself? Well, think about it this way. What about if you had something like, well, first of all, think about it. When you have x times tan of 32, does it matter if I do the following? Think about it if you have 2 times 3. Is that the same as 3 times 2? Yes, it is. So in other words, another way that I can write this is tan of 32 and then times x is equal to 11, right? So I didn't change anything. Moving them places doesn't change the value of anything. So that is allowed. Now you can think about this as being something like 3x is equal to 11. So what would you do on this right hand side? So what would you do here? How would you solve for x? What would you do to both sides? If you answer divide by 3 on both sides, you are correct. So then x is 11 divided by 3, right? So that's what you would do normally. So that's what you have to do in this case as well. Because remember, tan of 32 is just basically a number. So my answer for this is going to be x is equal to 11 divided by tan of 32. Now, in most problems, they're going to ask you to go ahead and give this as a decimal. So this is the exact solution. If you want to go ahead, or if they ask you to give the answer as decimal, then you would have to put this in a calculator. I went ahead and downloaded one from the Android store, but you can also go ahead and download one from the App Store as well. So the calculator is here on the side, and it's called WabyMu. So you can go ahead and type that in, as I said, in the Android store or the App Store, and it will come out. Now the calculator that I'm using on that app is the TI-84, but this will actually work for the other 3 calculators available. But I suggest that you use this one. So now for the TI-84, when you go ahead and turn it on, it's actually going to be in radians. So radians is similar to degrees, but it is not the option that we want. So we're going to go ahead and change that option. Most calculators actually are already in degrees, but just so that you know, there are some calculators that are not, and if those that are not, they're going to give you the wrong answer. So let's go ahead and show you how you can go ahead and change that setting. So you go into mode, click on mode, then you go down to where it says radian. That's going to be here. I want to change that to degree. So I move to the side and I click enter. Once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and click clear. And now I am done. Now I am working with degrees. So you have to go ahead and do that if you're using this app, or if you're using your own calculator. You have to make sure that you're working with degrees, guys. Okay, and one way that you can check whether you have degrees or if you have radians is by putting the following. So if I go ahead and I put 11 divided by, and then tan is here. So if you see here, we have the 3 functions: sine, cosine, and tan. So I'm working with tan, so I have to go ahead and wait. Oh, let's go clear this. So again, I have 11 divided by 10, and then I'm gonna put 32, and I get 17.60. So this is the correct answer. If you get something that is not 17.60, then that means that your calculator is in radians. So you would have to go ahead and change that. So again, you have to change it if you get a different answer. So in this case, the answer for this problem is going to be 17.60. Yeah, 60 because you rounded to the second decimal. And that's it. So let's go ahead and go over a quickly over 3 more examples, and then I'll go ahead and let you work on your assignment. So that's going to be it for this video. And the separate video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to find using different types of triangles and different types of functions, for example, the sine and the cosine. Okay, bye guys.